pigs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slop Trough Slop Trough. Did I say that correct? Slop Trough.
Mm-hmm. We have a special guest with us. Please welcome young Franklin. Yay!
Yay! Episode 2 with Frank.
Well, he's already making all of the audio listeners love what he's up to with just the panting here. Anything you have to say? Oh, great. Thank you for that. That's going to be great.
Thanks for your feedback. This is the longest he's ever stayed up on our bed.
Mm-hmm. And I think he's excited because we're excited. We have a list of stuff that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about Happily Ever After, finally. We're doing a catch-up episode of that.
Yes, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After ? Is the name of this show. This is a spin-off of the original 90 Day Fiancé series. And it's, as the name suggests, we're following couples who were on the original show and seeing if they are living happily ever after or if they are, in fact, miserable.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing is with all these 90-day shows, they all blend it together to me.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of
constantly
crossover.
have to ask you, what does this mean? Like, what episode before the what? And is this where we're in the foreign country? Is this where we're here?
Yeah. Should I do a quick breakdown for the audience?
For where we're at with Happily Ever After?
Of all the 90-day
Oh, wow. All of them?
Well,
All right,
I'll do a quick rudimentary breakdown. I may miss a couple of the random one-offs, but here's the basics that you need to know. 90 Day Fiancé is the original show.
Yeah.
Then we have 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, which is what we're talking about today.
That was the second show that happened next.
I believe so. Then we have Before the 90 Days, which is couples who are going to spend time in a foreign country with the person that they may potentially be bringing back to the United States on a K-1 visa.
So
it's before the 90
Paul
day.
And Karini.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
And then we have.
That's when we jumped on board. That was our first show.
Before the 90 Days was our first introduction, and it was actually pretty interesting.
It was shocking
to see people going to other countries and being total ugly Americans.
Well, that wasn't the shocking part, I guess. It was. I think the shocking part was just the lack of accountability once they got there and what they demanded from it.
Like, someone's in Brazil and they're like, I didn't know that people wouldn't speak English. And it's like, you dumb fuck, what did you think? But anyway, and then the last one is 90 Day Fiancé the other way, which is where the people are also going to a foreign country from the United States, but they're going with the intention of living in that foreign country rather than bringing the person over to the United States. So they're planning on going there the other way and staying there. So it's, to be clear, because someone asked us if 90 Day the other way meant that they were gay couples, and no, that's not what it works.
Who said that?
A family member of yours.
A family member of mine asked?
Yes,
when?
I don't. Just recently, I don't.
What? Okay. Are you sure you don't want to out them?
No, I won't do that.
I kind of want to know on
okay.
it. Do you think they're gonna watch?
Probably not. But
who is it? Was it a close relative?
Yeah.
One that's. Oh. do we go to their place frequently?
Yeah.
Okay, move on.
Anyway,
okay.
they may have actually been joking. I don't fully know, but let's
doubt
dive
it.
in.
I'm sure they were a little bit joking, a little bit.
Yeah. Probably. That's usually how it goes.
But they also watch 90 Days, so they're pretty big fans as well.
We'll find out. But let's dive into the show. So this is season 6 of Happily Ever After. It is live on TLC right now. So if you have cable or a Hulu Live or Discovery Plus, any of those, you can watch it in real time.
Yeah.
So, and another, I don't know why I keep plugging Discovery Plus, but
because we're going to be corporate shells and hopefully get sponsored.
Yeah.
I mean, we trash every single person on the show. And by the way,
but
I
we'll
think
promote your platform.
This is important to note because we didn't really emphasize this, but you are going to be fun. We didn't emphasize how non-serious this show is.
Yes.
How really anything that we're going to say in this, whether it's we're going after something that we saw on the show or something that was revealed, I'm making a Big Ed impression or something, it's not to be taken as oh, they actually are serious, like the family Chantel and their racism or something.
Yeah, we're going to probably, there are times when we'll talk about, serious things. Like, when we talked about Ed last week, we were 100% serious in our
He's a douchebag, yeah.
views.
However,
but
the jokes and stuff,
a...
when the things come in, They have to be taken with a grain of salt,
This
especially
is
with the
a
show.
fun
because
show.
we love the show, and we love all of the drama in it. We also love to trash it. That's what Slop Trough is. We just mock this stuff. So I don't know why I had to make that
I think that's
warning.
fair. I think that's fair because sometimes people, like, I have seen this with other shows where people will be kind of criticizing, like, I've seen it with other, like, 90-day podcasts specifically, where people will be, like, kind of criticizing the show or criticizing the setup, and then people comment and they're like, well, if you hate it so much, why don't you stop watching? And it's like, well, no, I don't want to stop watching the show. I would like to make the show better. And also, like, this is what people do.
That's where Slop Trough comes in, Discovery Plus.
But anyway, speaking of Discovery Plus.
Did I change my hair? Has it just been crazy this whole time?
You
allowed this.
You sat down and started talking.
Well, I also turned on all the lights, and, like, it was a process that you allowed me to do without... Okay, well, I guess cat's out of the bag. My hair's garbage. We talk about this so often that you can't let me outside with what I am. You know? I have no idea what I look like all the time, I guess. But until suddenly it's like, oh shoot!
Welcome to our relationship, everyone. Welcome to our marriage. Natalie and Patrick, happily ever after? ?
Whoa! ? You know, if I had a sound effect board right now, I would press buttons. Frank, quit pressing.
Hey, don't bite
the cables. I think the cables might be making noises.
Oh, okay.
And we might have gotten a lot of Frank chewing on one.
Should we take a quick break or do you want to just keep moving?
I think he'll be okay. Let's keep moving.
Well, anyway, I never got to say my point about Discovery Plus in the first place, which was if you have Discovery Plus, you get to watch 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After 2 days early. So it normally comes out on Sunday evenings, but it's available to people who are Discovery Plus subscribers on Friday mornings.
Yeah.
So you get to watch it early, which is how we're able to be recapping it on today, which is a Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Except you're not going to be listening to this on a Sunday. You'll
probably be on a Tuesday.
A Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, probably Tuesday.
Well, Happily Ever After. I think this show is honestly not of the top tier of the other shows that they have. The original always works out pretty well, and Before the 90 Days is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Of all of them, because it's really great to watch Americans squirm in a different country until, like, you know, they start ruining customs and being complete dicks. It depends on what type of American it is, you know.
For sure.
There's the ones that, like, cannot defend themselves at all and are just like thrown into a situation, or the Angelas in the situation where, like, no, we're cooking pizza. Like,
I'm ordering a pizza.
What are you doing? No, Mama's gonna like pizza.
Yeah.
I know it. It's like, no.
Yeah,
wrong.
This
But anyway,
show. Should we dive into?
Well, you tell me what you have as far as the rundown goes. How do you want to do this?
Okay, so here's what I was thinking for today. I figured we would just do sort of not necessarily a recap of the season thus far, but just kind of a quick overview of all of the players, sort of like what we did last week, and then we can just kind of give our thoughts on the season so far. Because I think we're on, like, episode
4,
maybe like 5 or 6, somewhere in that neighborhood.
The thing is, a lot of these storylines have kind of been on a Groundhog Day loop.
We've been dealing with Angela for like 4 years.
Andre is kind of always looking for the same situation and always has the same family drama, which we'll get into too. Who's the first couple, though, that we want to talk about?
So the first couple is Kalani and Asuelu, our Utah couple.
We're starting heavy.
We're starting hot and heavy, and
wow.
Yes. So Kalani,
I'm afraid to talk. I'm afraid to talk about this couple.
Okay, so I'll give a quick introduction. So Kalani and Asuelu live in St. George, Utah, or I guess they
specifically Washington,
live in
Utah.
Washington.
Now, if you're from Utah, and I'm hoping that some of you that listening are, there's St. George, which is kind of like the first town that's down in southern Utah that was being built up, and there's Hurricane, that's about a half hour away.
And it's spelled like hurricane.
Now, St. George started kind of branching out and developing towns within, right? And this is the one that's splitting the difference between Hurricane and St. George. So Washington is right in between.
Yes.
So that's where they are. You'll know it by their defining in and out right off of their exit, and the only indoor mall is in Washington, I believe, too. So
yes,
they live there, and
yeah. So Kalani is the American person in this couple, and Asuelu is from Samoa. What's interesting about them is Kalani is also half Samoan. Her dad is from Samoa too, and we were we were first introduced to them a couple of seasons ago on the regular 90 Day Fiancé show. The big issue that I think, like, if I was to pick like one main theme, it's that Asuelu he's actually like, he's quite a bit younger than Kalani. He's about like 6 or 7 years younger, I think.
Yeah.
And he's a man-child. Like, I think that's fair to say. You know, regardless of, like, I don't want to get yet into all of the weeds of, like...
You could call him a man-child, or you can say that they just have not acclimated him to American life at all.
They're from very different cultures.
His only need and like, his only, like, drive where he was at was to make food and to, like, grow crops and to build things and to do things with his hands.
It's a very different world.
And not, like, how are you going to make an income for a house or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the really frustrating thing for me about this couple is the fact that she and her family have this like weird perception of him, I feel like, where they expect him to come to the United States with no, like, I don't like saying no skills or anything, because like he has skills, like he's not, like, he can do things, but taking skills
they've given him the chance to be able to use his skills too with Tuacon doing the PCC stuff.
Yeah, but even just like, I don't know, they expect him to like come here and they're like, why don't you have $100,000 a year job and a 401k and all this stuff? And it's like, you did nothing to like try to set him up for success in that way, but then you're mad at him. Did he just jump up here?
Yeah.
He jumped up so easily.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
that was terrifying.
Okay. Anyway, but so that's Kalani and Asuelu, and they've been dealing with, again, it's a lot of these people, they're dealing with the same shit.
Well,
that
I'm going to sound off on these two.
Episode 1. Do you want to air your grievances now? We're not quite to that.
Well, their history is already so stupid.
Yeah.
Asuelu's family only want money
yes.
because they believe that culturally he needs to provide for them.
Mm-hmm.
Kalani's parents and sister are all pretty much against the entire thing.
Yeah,
and have not made much efforts to try to, I guess, even explain why Asuelu's doing stuff that's wrong. It's just immediate, like, oh, he's so bad. He's so mean.
He's a bad
He's intentionally
person.
doing all of this.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff on the Reddit, subreddits and stuff when it first happened where it was like, Asuelu knows what he's doing. He may look dumb, but and to me, it's like, no, it's really just cultural differences.
There's a lot of cultural differences here. Like, that's very obvious to me watching this. And it's, I don't know. I don't know. My frustration with them is because I can sympathize with someone who's with someone who is married to someone who is not what it's not what you thought it was. And I should back up and say, so they met when Kalani was on vacation in Samoa, and he worked at the resort. Mm-hmm. So here's if there's one lesson that everyone in the world takes away from 90 Day Fiancé, if you bang someone on vacation, you leave them in the vacation destination.
Oh, snap.
You don't try to marry them and bring them back home and then say, why didn't you act the way you did when I was on vacation?
It's true.
It's like, what the fuck do you expect? Like, you were on a vacation.
What do you think, Frank? He agrees.
Yeah. So there you go. In case anyone is getting ready, the world's opening back up again. You can start going on vacations. If you go to an island and you bang someone, great. But then don't try to marry them and bring them over here and then get mad at them when they don't fit into your expectations of what an American husband should be.
She's kind of turning a little bit into a Muhammad and Jenny situation. Or what's her name? Danielle and Muhammad's situation where, she's expecting a lot of stuff from him, and he's trying to communicate and do stuff, but she's also I'm ready for divorce the minute I get the opportunity. She's very hypocritical through this entire thing, and that's what bugs me most about their relationship is that they just are hypocritical about everything that they want.
Yeah, and also her family is just way too invested in her. I think that's a big part of the problem, honestly, is that her family is so involved. And and I mean, to an extent, I think it's fair because they're living with her parents. They're not paying any rent or anything. So, I think in that case, the lines do get blurred sometimes. Because it's you're living in my house, you're eating my food, I'm babysitting your kids.
Apparently now I have a life debt with you.
Yeah.
if you're Asuelu's in-law.
Yeah.
Which we found out last episode.
So I can understand that a little bit, but also her sister is very invested, and I'm pretty sure her sister just wants to be on TV. Mm-hmm. And so she's this is my in, Yeah. So they're a very frustrating couple, and of course they're the Utah. Utah has terrible representation on 90 Day Fiancé. I cannot think of one good couple from Utah that's been featured on this show. Because we have Devin. We have Devin and Jihoon.
Yeah, we have them. Hey, let's take a quick break so we can figure out Frank.
Manage this creature.
And we're back. Yay.
Woo!
He's tamed himself.
Yeah.
Looks like he's lying down. Frank will allow us to continue the show. So with Asuelu and Kalani, I don't think that they're a strong relationship, and
no, not at all.
It's a continuing relationship that I hope stops after the season. Like we get a definitive answer whether they're sticking together or not, and then we just move forward.
I agree. I'm kind of tired of.
You have to ask, how long are these camera people and producers actually hurting the relationship?
Yeah.
Keeping them there, you know?
For sure. And like, because we know how much TLC pays these people per episode. It's like they get paid like $1,000 per episode. Mm-hmm. So like they're making some money from this show. But honestly, it's like, is the $12,000 you get for the season, is that worth?
If you're a couple, it's 24.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. But even
it's still
like
not
you
really
have
worth
to,
it. That's barely what
you couldn't live off of
a McDonald's salary would be like, right?
And so you have to question, like, is it really worth all of the stress of being followed around by camera people and having, stories kind of planted and
that's why there's sponsorships. So they have all kinds of other stuff that they're doing too.
Yeah.
And Cameo, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Asuelu capitalizes on that. We have a cameo from Asuelu.
Yeah, it was great.
Cut to it. We can cut to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think in the end of the day, they're just not a great match. And I could say that about a lot of couples on this show. For example, Angela and Michael. Or, Mackle. Angela. I haven't chain smoked for 40 years, so it's not the same.
So, this whole thing this is probably the longest relationship right now that's on the show.
Oddly enough.
Maybe one of the longest. Started season 3 of Before the 90 Days.
I think I'm looking at my list right now, and I think I think they are the longest running. Not the longest running, but one of the longest.
The ones that are recurring on the show most frequently. I guess Darcy and Stacy you could consider maybe being the family Chantel. I think they were there before.
Yeah, there are couples. There are definitely couples that have been around longer, but they're one of the ones that we've been seeing consistently for a long time.
Yeah, so they've been around for a while, and their story, to be honest, like it's taken a while to really tell because Michael is so far away, and all
Michael's
this stuff happening.
Nigeria.
Michael's from the 90-day people know the Nigeria people. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That sounded weird.
What are you trying to say here?
They know the Nigerian people. How dare you? The people, if you're listening to this, they know who they are.
One would hope. But who
the catch-up
knows?
that we have is that Angela decides this whole season she wants to get every single piece of plastic in the ocean put into her face, neck, chest, anywhere possible. And Michael is just watching through Zoom, horrified at the amount of money being spent, specifically boobs.
Yeah.
Boobs.
Yeah, well, because I don't think you were there when they showed this particular scene on the last episode, but she has just told him that she wants to spend $25,000 on a facelift, and he explains, like, in Nigeria, I believe it's Naira is what their currency is called, that it works out to like $11 million or something in his currency. So they're like, think of how much that could buy here, or that could be used to like bring me there,
Yeah. That's interesting that could be used to bring him there.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, like she's getting these surgeries for free in exchange for, I think so. I think she's getting them for free in exchange for like promoting the plastic surgeons.
I don't know if
TLC's paying for it.
Maybe a discount, but you can't say free if you don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure, but
my goodness, though. I think that their relationship has still been crazy, but it's also hilarious to see what their hierarchy is for each other, like what they want as a couple and as individuals seems so far away from what they actually are in. Like, Michael still wants a kid.
Michael's in his 30s, Angela's in her 50s, and it's been made very clear through multiple seasons that she cannot, she can maybe tote a baby, but she has no eggs left. Like, she is not in a position to have a child.
No, the only thing that she
and
can
yet
maybe
they're like,
fit a
we
baby.
could have a baby.
She can maybe fit a baby between her crotch, like her front crotch. Front crotch. Is that what that is? No.
Cleavage is the word you're looking for. Cleavage.
I'm so tired. It's Sunday. And,
it is. It's been a long week.
I'm glad we did that warning at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
But anyway, in her boob pouch. Is that better?
That works.
Her boob pouch.
Anything would be better than what you said.
Which was?
Front crotch. Which I already have to question.
I'm sorry. I saw the look of shock in your face. I'm so sorry. Now Frank's upset. Oh, and I'm sweating. The hair isn't even it doesn't matter anymore. I just look, let's just move
That's
on
all we
away.
have to say about Angela.
That's enough of that. Let's talk about Libby and Andre.
No, you have to say Andre.
Andre. And Libby.
Okay.
Hey, Libby.
So they've been on the show for I think this is their third season on the show. So they were on I want to say they were on the original 90 Day and then 90 Day Happily Ever After for a couple of seasons.
We know them most notably from the stupid goddamn commercials that happened all quarantine. Everyone needs a little love.
I actually totally forgot about that.
Oh, really? The minute they showed their asses up again, I was like,
no,
you got a lot to make up for with that stupid commercial every time you show up.
They're a frustrating couple because they're both awful. Like,
their whole family. It's like it's Florida Duck Dynasty.
Yeah. Well, they think they're okay. This is gonna sound bad, but like I actually think it kind of works. Like I think they fancy themselves like the Kardashians, where it's like it's our whole family and we have this empire and
Trumps,
we're
hon.
wealthy.
They think they're the Trumps.
They think I think they fancy themselves the Trumps too.
I don't think they like the Kardashians, nor would they ever watch the Kardashian show because they think they're lower than them.
I was gonna say like Florida Kardashians, but yeah, they think they're the Trumps too.
I bet they think that they could get into Mar-a-Lago if they really tried hard.
Well, because the dad owns a like real estate company.
There you go.
Which is from what I've heard.
What was Trump's?
Yeah. From what I've heard, like is super shady and like.
Well, they flip houses. They have a business with it. And the big story with this season is that Andre is facing possible deportation because his green card is up for renewal. Mm-hmm. He needs to prove that he has work. And for that to happen, he needs to stay in a consistent job. Enter Jock, who is either going to give him $100,000
so that he can start his own business,
which he's 100% confident will happen, or that he's going to work directly with Jock and will not need to work with Libby or Charlie or anybody like that. And I honestly don't give two shits about them. I'm very sorry to say, but I don't. Fuck, they're douchebags. I hate to say it.
That is one of my favorite things about when he talks about the family. Because he'll be like, and I'm really sorry to say this, but they are fucking asshole monster shitbags. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth.
I really don't mean to say this. I'm sorry. I try everything I could, but... Yeah,
I love it because people do that all the time where they're like, I'm really sorry, and then they go on to say like 80,000 expletives.
He has a lot of good reason to not like these people too.
Exactly, that's why it's hard because they're all monsters.
Was it Happily Ever After last time? This is the last season with them was also Happily Ever After. Okay, so the Moldova wedding, we don't know what his background is, which it turns out is possibly evading shady police behavior.
Yeah.
That seems to be the real crime more than anything. Sure, we don't know for sure. But the way that they treat him, the way that Chuck specifically is like, but I'm Don Jr. and is trying to like keep his paycheck. It has nothing to do with his dad.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with taking care of his dad. It's I want to make sure that my stuff is still there.
Exactly.
And yeah, now of course they've got this baby involved in it, and at the wedding, Chuck completely gets drunk, and I mean Charlie gets drunk, freaks out, says that you're stealing money, and basically the show ends on that. So the continuation of this is that they just don't want to work together, and that happened with flipping a specific house, right?
Yeah, there's like one house that they're in the process of renovating so that they can flip it. And that's like the source of all the drama between everyone. And it's just like these people are all just so insufferable that like, because there are moments where it's like, ugh, I hate that you're making me agree with you, but I have to agree with you because you're being a monster. And then it flips around to the other way where it's like, well, damn it, now I have to agree with you because this person's being a monster. And
yeah, I think there's just, but there's also a lot of fun to be had with their craziness
at their expense.
Specifically, I think the funnest part of the season so far has been just Andre's complete denial of what the situation actually is, and thinking and going ahead of, I'm making $1,000, I'm going to get my own company. Especially when they go to the house, he first sees Charlie. They kind of establish that they're going to kind of work together, but then who's the Becky, she shows up and just freaks out, and they have this huge. It almost feels like if Aaron Sorkin took a ton of mushrooms and maybe a ton of like aerosol cans to the dome.
Oh God.
Dumb down Aaron Sorkin, right, and let him scribble a ton of dialogue. That's basically what happened. And then right in the point where like it felt like they're like things were like at the highest point, Andre just kind of pipes in and goes, I thought I was going to be getting this house on my own. Like,
yeah, well, like, he's like, Chuck said, he's like, Chuck said I'm an equal partner in this, and Chuck's like, no, I didn't.
Well, yeah, like just a really quick, like he just kind of butted in and was like, this is my company though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, what? It was one of the best reactions ever.
It was because it was 100% genuine. Just like, no, that's not what we're doing here.
Yes, but let's talk about Chuck completely flipping on his belly this episode, because Andre essentially has to come clean that he could face deportation, and he threatened, let's be clear, he threatened to take Libby and the kid, and Chuck's tone completely changed. He was like, at the beginning he was like, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't get along with Charlie, you got to work with my kids. We got to make this happen, man. You've got to work with the company, work with us. And then he tells him, and he's like, I don't like how you sprung this on me. I think we need to work together.
Yeah, you and I are going to work together, just
really
us in the office.
Yeah,
and I'm going to teach you the ropes.
Shake hands, and then
so
he
Andre
leaves.
suddenly like somehow gets everything he wanted.
Everything worked out for him somehow. Well, we'll see, because Charlie and them, they're on a boat and they're upset, and the cliffhanger of this episode was there. I don't know, some type of fight about to happen.
Oh, they did actually like
Trump
start to fight.
Trump people in boats, man. They love getting on the water and causing mischief, don't
Yikes. Yeah.
I don't know if they're Trump supporters. They are.
They absolutely are. Like it's I don't think that's up for debate, honestly.
Nah.
Okay, let's move on to Tiffany and Ronald.
I don't know who they are.
Okay, you will when I start explaining this. You'll catch on pretty quickly. So Ronald is from South Africa. Tiffany, this is another case of if you bang someone on vacation, you don't marry them.
Have you heard of human trafficking, my boy?
That he says that his famous line said in, because they were originally on 90 Day the other way, because she was going to move to South Africa with her kid.
She was there for a minute. They were there for 3 months, right?
They went there for a few months, but they went there, and then she realized, like, oh, this isn't like Maryland in the United States, and then freaked out and was like, no, we're going home. So now they're trying to get him over to the United States, but it's a bit of a challenge because he has a criminal record. He, as she lets us know in every single episode, he had a gambling addiction.
Yeah, and he did, and I think did it have to do with her money at all?
No,
basically... So it was all before. There was never any money issues as far as... Like, there's trust, obviously.
Yes,
but
it's
was
more
it
of a
like...
trust issue from what I understand. And also, there's an issue. There is a money issue because he just... like, to put it simply, like, no amount of money that he makes over there can really, like, translate into
a similar Michelangelo issue.
Into a sufficient amount of American dollars for him to, like, support the family in the way that she wants him to do, which, again, we get another, like, Kalani and Asuelu issue, too, where it's like, why don't you have $100,000 a year job?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, bitch, what do you want him to do?
No, it's true.
So these two frustrate me a lot because, again, I think it's just a bad match. You've got kids entangled in the situation now, so I feel bad for the kids. And, like, it's just a bad match, and if you don't try to marry your vacation bang. I don't know how many times I need to say this. Clearly a lot, because these people keep showing up on the show.
She tries to get her father to sponsor him now.
Yes, that's where they
and
end
he
up.
agrees
And
to
he
it
agrees to
because she. Here's the other. My biggest issue with this relationship is solely on her, to be honest. And maybe this episode is a little bit too much themed to, like, I have an issue with Kalani. I have an issue with. I have more of an issue with Andre than I do with Libby. Like, I think Libby is genuinely just trying to survive through all of this. And I think she does, like, her best in
I think it's
situation.
another issue too, where it's like if her family was not in the picture, like, they'd probably be fine.
But Angela, I think she knows goddamn well what she's doing, and she's just doing whatever.
Angela's
she wants.
on her own planet.
So with Tiffany clearly is too immature to have a relationship. She cannot handle even telling the truth at the right time, or talking or communicating anything. I feel like her producers and the camera person know more about the relationship than Ronald does, and that's not okay.
Exactly.
And when you're not able to do that, and I know that we're only watching so much of the show, so we don't know for sure. It just seems like she's talking a lot about Ronald and not a lot to Ronald, and Ronald only gets so much time because she likes abusing the fact that she can close that laptop or something.
Yeah, well, what's frustrating, so this happened in either the first or second episode of the show, I can't remember, but they had tickets to go to South Africa to visit him. Like, they had booked the tickets and were planning on going. And then she calls him and she's like, I actually canceled the tickets because I need you to step up financially and be more supportive. And it's like, but you, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, that's just such an immature way of handling the situation. Because I don't think it's unfair to say that I want you to help us more financially. Like, I don't think that's unfair at all. They have a kid together. But it's the petty, like, I'm canceling these tickets and not, okay, we're going to take this trip, and I'm going to say, I don't want to take any more trips until you can contribute to the price of the tickets or something.
Well, here's my issue with this. If you want him to contribute so much, get him here where the exchange rate actually matches what you need. Because if you're just saying, keep working for pennies, you have to keep working for pennies. That's like running in the same place. Like, you're not going to really make any headway. So I think it's an excuse. I think it's an excuse that she just does not want to go back.
She doesn't want to go back.
That is the honest truth. And she doesn't want to admit that she's ready to divorce him in order to do that. And because of that, she's making up every excuse in the book. She's bringing back the gambling. That still isn't an issue. Did he slip?
No, he did.
Did he slip? Maybe he did. I don't know.
I think she said he did relapse once. But, like, here's the thing with addiction. Like, relapse is part of the, like, cycle of addiction. Like, that is just something that you have to, I don't want to say expect, but, like, you have to kind of know that it might happen.
It seems like she, like, made a tick mark.
Yeah, it's not like, gambling addiction solved.
Or no, she was like, no, that's strike one.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, she's holding it against him.
Oh, absolutely.
And, like, I'm not going to say that he's a saint. He's not willing to do the right thing here either. He knows damn well sure that this place is not very safe for raising a kid.
And he's being very manipulative with her older. So she has a kid from a previous relationship, and then she and Ronald have a kid together. And he's very manipulative with her son.
Really?
Where he's like, yeah, well, remember in the last episode when he was like, you need to tell your mom that you want to come to South Africa, and you need to tell her every day that you want to see me. And it's just like, you don't bring a kid in to do your dirty work for you. Like, that is a conversation that you and, like, the two adults need to be having. Like, you don't bring a kid in as a third party and try to make them the messenger. Like, that's just never okay.
No, that's messed up.
So yeah, they're, again, another bad match. Surprise, surprise. And speaking of bad matches,
should we move on? That's the issue with this show right now. They're not they're not giving us any wins. These happily ever afters are continuations of garbage.
I think we have one sort of win.
Who?
I think Jovi and Yara are kind of a win.
They are in the worst situation.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's like this close to just snapping. I'm so afraid for her. All right, we'll get into her. We'll get into that later.
I see what you're saying, but I guess relative to all of the other people.
Let's talk about fake and fake. Mike and Natalie.
And Natalie.
I've come to the realization that I think they're both acting.
Yeah.
I think they're both acting this entire thing.
I think they both want money.
They want
the
money.
TLC money.
He needs to clear his debts. She wants an acting career. That's what it really is.
She wants to be on TV.
Mm-hmm. And it's clear to see, especially when the mom is introduced, because the mom's not a very good actor, and you can clearly see like anytime she's being mean, it's like super intentionally mean to the point where like this would not be the reaction you would get for that.
Yeah.
And anytime you see her about to do something, it always cuts back to an interview. Never really stays on what happens after. So it feels like a lot of setup. I don't like this relationship, and I want it to be over.
No, it's so gross. That's really like it's so fake. I don't even really want to talk about it because they're just. We
don't have to.
Like they're just so like there's nothing even really to say because I feel like it's all so fabricated.
Mm-hmm. No, I think so too.
Yeah, Michael is monster, and Natalie is monster, and
both losers.
Mike's mom is monster.
Mike's mom is just like, I need more whatever I put in my hair.
Oh, her hair and her... I mean, they're worth watching for the sun hat alone, but...
Yep. Okay, so Brandon and Julia, still on the farm. The big update with this is that Julia got a letter saying that she's not officially gotten a green card, but she can now work in the United States. She has like a work permit. Which is great. Congratulations to her. She can get out of the farm. I think that's honestly the best. And you could see how happy she was about it. She's like, I don't have to work on your fucking farm anymore. I have to deal with these stupid dogs that you have in these tiny cages.
They're like, what would they... They basically run a puppy mill on that farm. Like they just have like they're breeders, but it's like everyone's in these like teeny tiny cages with like wire floors and
I don't want to talk about that. That's messed up. They're so messed up.
And to be clear, these are Brandon's parents
who
are running this farm.
I think like as pivotal a character in this relationship.
Oh yeah, they're very involved in Brandon's life.
Maybe more involved than any other character next to Debbie and Colt.
Oof, yeah.
As far as parents,
yeah, I don't think Brandon's parents are
involved.
taking his OnlyFans pictures.
No, probably not. But they are very insistent on doing a wedding thing, and that's kind of where it's. They didn't have a lot with this episode, so that's okay to skip that.
Yeah, they're pretty much just basically their whole storyline this whole season is just will Julia get a green card or won't she? Like that's basically where we're at with them.
But Jovi and Yara, I think there's a problem there.
I agree that there are problems.
Why are you leaving me again with a baby? I'm going to be gone for so long, and you're staying for so long. Yeah, I'm just going to be gone for like three or 5 years. It's not a big deal. They may make me stay a little longer. And then the mom's up front like, I used to be alone. And like that whole scene was ridiculous.
You do a very good Jovi.
We don't need sound bites in Slop Trough.
No, we have Patrick.
And people might hate it, and it might. And I don't know if it'll get offensive. I might have offended the Yara fans.
Here's
Jovi fans.
Well, we don't need. I could go down a whole rabbit hole.
But poor Yara. I feel so bad. For her.
Do feel bad for her.
He's not doing anything to help with anything.
Well,
you'll be with my mom. It's fine. That's pretty much it.
Here's what I think.
If he can distance himself from it, he won't feel guilty enough to try to do something about it.
I think he does. I think he does genuinely feel guilty, and he does genuinely worry about the situation. So basically, he has to leave for he works like 1 month on, 1 month off.
He's the remote control operator for those undersea machines that. Yeah. So it is an important thing, and he has to be on location to do it.
Yeah, he can't do it.
He's got to be on a ship doing the thing. So all of that makes sense. However. I
feel really bad for her that she's being just like left alone with a brand new baby. Yeah.
And if there's no way that she can't come with, there's got to be a way that he can be put on desk duty. Or there could be something that could be adjusted. And maybe it's just how he's handling it that makes me feel like he's not looking for other ways to try to find a way out of it.
Yeah.
He very much seems like my hands are tied, but he's like, I get to leave for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the reason I said I think they're a win is because I do think that they like genuinely love each other in their like twisted way.
I still don't know what that either.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could totally
maybe the
be
kid
wrong.
did it, but I haven't seen enough of this season with them.
Yeah.
And they're already splitting them apart.
That's true.
I can only rely on last season, and last season was abysmal for them.
That's true.
That was a horrible first start. Like, he did the same thing he's doing right now. Like,
that's fair.
I don't know.
That's fair. I don't know. I guess
Feel bad for Yara.
I guess relative to all of these other couples, they're the least like. I think they're probably the most
taking it in
likely
strife the
to
most.
stay together. Like, yeah, I don't know. They are monsters though. Like, I'm not going to deny that. Like, Jovi just like wants to drink all the time, and Yara is very materialistic. And
well, yeah, Yara just had no idea what she was getting herself into.
I think it's also so they're kind of another one though, where it's like I don't think she's technically like a vacation bang, but it's also kind of like, you know, if you meet someone who you meet on vacation is going to be different than how they are in their day-to-day life when they have a job to do, you know, because he works, like you said, like he works 1 month on and then he gets an entire month off. So during that
cool.
entire month, like he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think she fully took into account. And also we're in a pandemic, so it's not like I think she thought initially that she would be able to like go home and stay with her family in Ukraine while he was away, like, or her family could come here.
And she makes that point.
So
like,
that's a lot of
that.
it, I think, too, is like just pandemic, like added complications. So I don't know. I do kind of agree with, I've heard a few people say that like Brandon and Julia and Jovi and Yara, it's kind of frustrating because we just got finished seeing them on the regular 90 Day Fiancé, so not enough has happened in their relationships to make it like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder what's happened to them. You know, 'cause it's like, well, we just saw them. Like, I don't really care what's happening to them yet. But
you know what's funny? I see what our next segment is, but I think we've pretty much done that.
A lot of grievances.
Have we covered the ones that you?
I have a petty one.
So first, let's introduce this, and yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, my nose itches.
It's okay.
Okay.
My nose itches too.
So airing of grievances. This segment is exactly what it. Thank you.
Do me. Thank you.
Okay. Not awkward at all.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, as the title of this segment would suggest, we are going to talk about some things that bug us about this show, as though we haven't been talking about things that bug us for the last hour.
It might just be one thing, because I've unloaded everything.
That's fair. I just
this
have
is
a
kind of
petty.
like therapy. It's weird.
I have a petty grievance, and it's very petty, and you're probably gonna laugh at me, and that's okay. On this show, these people's names are displayed at the bottom of the screen every time they show up. Their names are displayed. So you know what that means. People have no excuse to spell these names incorrectly.
I still don't know half the names.
For example, on Reddit, people cannot spell Asuelu's name to save their goddamn lives.
Oh, okay.
They call him Onsuelo. They call him Asuelo.
Asuelu.
Like, they spell it so many ridiculous ways, and it's like, it's at the bottom of the fucking screen. Pause your screen for 2 seconds before you write your shitty Reddit post, and then you're good to go.
We'll post this on Reddit. We're at you guys.
Oh god, don't do that. Don't do that. But no, my petty grievance is spell check.
I still don't know the names of most of them. And you even had to correct me on this show, like this episode. I don't have any other grievances than what I give.
That's fair.
So I will make sure to save a specific one next time, because I didn't think about that.
Okay.
But is there anything else that we
I have a
for
news story.
a 90 news?
Yes.
90 news.
So yes. And it works perfectly because we're talking about the family Libby and all of their horribleness. So, not only does her father, Chuck, run a shady real estate business, but he also likes to slide into the DMs of other 90 Day Fiancé cast members.
Oh, who'd he
Okay, so the title of this article is 90 Day Fiancé. Libby's dad, Chuck, reaches out to female cast member. And it is from ScreenRant.com.
Oh, I know Screen Rant.
Yeah.
I actually know a couple people that write on Screen Rant.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Do you know Emma Fisher?
No.
Okay. Well, she wrote this article. So basically...
She's cool. We should get her on the show.
So basically, someone from a few seasons ago, her name is Emily, she is married to someone from Russia. And Chuck apparently slid into her DMs and was like, hey, we have lots of mutual friends on Facebook. How could that be? Ha ha. And then she responded and was just like, probably because we've both been on the same show.
Yeah.
And then he got a bunch of... And I think she...
That's all he did?
That appears to be the end of it.
That's creepy. That's
but apparently
creepy
it was at like 1:30 in the morning when he sent the message too. And so, yeah, it's not like super problematic, but it's also weird because it's like, why are
behavior.
you DMing someone?
Yeah.
In like,
I don't
who's
think,
a lot younger than
look,
you?
we've in the Slop Trough, in the realm where we're going into Roni or Potomac or any of that stuff, that's child's play.
Oh, absolutely.
And that sounded bad. That probably shouldn't have. That sounded bad too. It's gross and creepy, but it's not nearly what we've seen on some of these shows.
Not at all. Oh, not at all. It's not even. It's honestly child's play for 90 Day too. But I just thought it was kind of funny because we were talking about their family. It's like, oh, also he's apparently kind of a creep and likes to slide into people's DMs.
Yeah.
So.
It's very, very weird. But it's also, I always question the motives of the people that take the screenshots and post them too.
That is fair.
Like, where are you trying to go with this too?
That is fair. And maybe she's trying to become more relevant now that, because they were on the one season and we haven't heard anything since. So maybe she's like, oh, maybe this is my ticket in. I don't know. But that's also kind of inflammatory to say. I don't know.
It's harmless enough to feel like I don't think I would have personally. Would you? I would have just maybe not responded or deleted it.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I would have responded. Yeah, I probably would have just deleted the message and like, I mean, like, that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. If he was like, let me see them.
Yeah,
stuff.
It wasn't anything like super gross like that. So I guess points for not being a complete creep.
Who wrote this article?
Emma Fisher.
Hey, Emma. Fuck you.
Whoa.
For putting me in the position where I just had to kind of sort of defend this guy. That wasn't cool. I don't feel good that I just had to do that. Or that, yeah. Ugh. He sucks. He's the worst.
Apologies.
They're the worst.
Well, apologies for also bringing that to your attention so that you had to respond to it.
I'm just kidding, Emma.
And
Emma's cool. I don't know her.
Sorry, Emma. Apologies to you as well.
Emma, the show is over.
Do you want to end with, do you have any recommendations this week as far as reality TV goes, or just TV in general?
Nah, not really. Well, what did we just start yesterday? Mayor of Easttown.
We just started watching Mayor of Easttown on HBO. It's not reality TV. It is scripted, and it's quite good so far.
What were the ones that you were watching during the pandemic? There was two competing ones. One was on Netflix and one was on HBO Max. One was like the House of...
Oh, okay. So on Netflix is Bling Empire.
Okay.
And on HBO, the show is called House of Ho. Both of these are reality TV shows, and they're kind of cool because they're both following Asian American people, wealthy Asian Americans. So House of Ho is a Vietnamese family, a Vietnamese American family, and they're very wealthy, of course, and it's just kind of following their drama, and it's very good as far as like reality TV goes. And like if you're into like Real Housewives or like Kardashians, like seeing that like extreme wealth, if that is entertaining to you, that's a really fun show. Well, it gets kind of dark in places, actually. I don't know if I would call it really fun, but it's worth watching. And then Bling Empire has been renewed for a second season, I saw. I think they're probably filming right now. It's on Netflix, and it's more of like how would I describe it? It's a little bit more like a group of friends rather than a family. But it's also, they're extremely wealthy. They're all Asian or Asian American. And it's just kind of cool to see that particular type of representation on these shows. Yeah. You know, it's like, because I don't know, like
it was entertaining.
People...
One of them was basically a Kardashian show.
Yeah.
And there's one guy I hated.
Oh yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. But
that's a good recommendation. I'll take one of those and you take the other one, and we recommend We recommend.
We recommend them to you. Yeah, but they're fun. They're fun ones to watch if you just want something that's kind of like in that reality TV realm that maybe you haven't seen before.
Well, piggies,
We did it.
our trough is empty, our bellies are full, and we have just talked about 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After of this last episode. Next week, any idea of what we want to be talking about?
I have not thought that far ahead.
All right. Well, that's okay with us. Who knows? We might not even do that next week because that's our style.
We'll take a week
Don't
off.
tell us what
See
to do.
if we care.
I want to thank our special guest Frank for being on the on the bed,
I love
maybe
that he's
causing a
just
ruckus
asleep.
at the beginning, but now peacefully resting and being a
cute.
sweet boy. And of course, my lovely wife for suggesting that we do this, even though I show up with crazy hair.
I love your hair
end up
in all
we end up talking
stages.
about front things and all that stuff. I'm not going to
This
say
is
it
the
again.
Slop Trough.
This is the Slop Trough, and I think that's going to be our thumbnail, like just our freak out after that. We don't have an ending for this either.
We just
It's awkward. That was an awkward ending.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.